Verse 3, he says, at one time, we too were foolish, disobedient, deceived and enslaved by all kinds of passions and pleasures. We lived in malice and envy, being hated and hating one another. So again, we remember in verses 1 through 2, Paul exhorts us to remember our duties as we interact with the world that God has placed us in. And then he says, before you get angry and disobey the immoral government, and before you get fed up and slander those corrupt political officials, and before you reach your boiling point and start to fight against this godless culture, Paul says, before you do any of that, remember that you were once one of them. Drop the mic. You know? Paul says, we must remember our former condition. We were once one of them. Guys, it is absolutely imperative that we do not forget who we once were. Okay? Here's the truth. Before you knew Jesus, you were messed up too. You were a mess. You were a wreck before you knew Jesus too. And here's the thing. When that truth slips our mind, it puts us in a position of pride where we look down on those other people. We say, oh, I'm glad I'm not like them. I don't do the things that they do. But again, verse 3, guys, there's no denying this. At one time, we too were foolish, disobedient, deceived, and enslaved by all kinds of passions and pleasures. We lived in malice and envy, being hated and hating one another.